What's going on, guys? Welcome back. In today's video we're going to be doing a makeover on this tank here. Now this is my living room tank, so very much on display and one that needs to be looking particularly good. So this is a 110 litre tank which is around about 30 gallons, and it's been set up now for a good 4 or 5 years, so very well established, and it was actually the first ever planted tank that I set up. And the fish in here are actually some Madaka ice fish. There's also some Amano shrimp and various snails, including a lot of Malaysian trumpet snails, a nearite snail and some pond snails. And the filtration is just a simple couple of sponge filters, and in fact only one of them is running at the moment, but not had any issues with water quality or anything like that. I think it's just like so well established now. There is beneficial bacteria literally everywhere. But yeah, that is one of the things I want to upgrade today actually though. I do want to add a small canister filter onto it. I've got a spare 207 Fluval canister filter, so I'm going to be adding that on there. Also want to add some driftwood in there because currently it doesn't have any wood in there, and I'd like to add a bit of that in, and also want to add some new plants. That being said, the only things that I'm going to be actually removing from this tank is the fish themselves, because I've recently built a new pond outside. So these guys are going to be going outside and into that pond. And so that is the first thing I'm actually going to have to do, and that is to remove the fish and get them acclimated to their new pond. Okay, there we go. I've got all the little rice fish. They were actually not too bad to catch at all, to be honest. So let's get them outside and we'll get them acclimated to the pond. Okay, the fish are acclimating away, so we can go and crack on with the build. Okay, so whilst the rice fish are acclimating outside, I've grabbed this spare light I've got and just pop that on there for now, just so we can see what we're doing. And the first thing we want to do is to sort out the filtration. So I'm going to be keeping one of these sponge filters, but I am going to be taking the sponge off and putting it on to, I've got a new one of these because that's like a bit of a DIY one, and it doesn't look great. So I'm going to take the sponge off there and put it onto there. So we've still got a nice cycled sponge in there. And then I'm going to take this sponge filter out. I'm going to put it upstairs in a snail tub that I've currently got going on. So that's what I'm going to do first, take that up there, and then we'll get the Fluval 207 out and get that all hooked up. Okay guys, so I've got that sponge filter back in. That's looking nice. Well, it's looking a lot better than that one anyway. So I need to get that one out of there now and put that in the snail tank upstairs. Also going to remove that bit of old airline in there that I don't use anymore. I'm going to give the Val a quick trim as well. Just get rid of any dodgy looking bits, like that bit there looks a bit dodgy. So we'll get rid of that. And oh yeah, by the way, also I've just added the rice fish to the pond. They had finished acclimating, and pretty certain they're having the time of their lives out there. So yeah, I'm going to get them little bits and bobs done, and then I'll grab the canister filter and we'll get that all hooked up. Okay guys, so that is the Val all nicely trimmed down, got rid of all the dodgy stuff, and yeah, got this one random long stem left, but that looks pretty cool, so I just thought I'd leave it. I've moved the sponge filter upstairs into the snail tub, and yeah, if you're wondering why I've got a tub full of snails, it's because I broke down a tank the other day and those were the snails that were in it. So yeah, they're just going to be staying in there for a little while till I find somewhere to put them. But yeah, the airline's gone, the airstone's gone, they were no longer needed, and it's now time to get the canister filter sorted. So this is the canister filter we're going to be using. It's the Fluval 207. So yeah, nice little canister filter. If you've been following along, it's actually the filter off Mo's old tank, Mo the Goldfish. So yeah, I had it available, so I thought might as well use it. And the main reason I want to use it, aside from it obviously adding a little bit of extra filtration to the tank, is that it's going to help to produce a bit of extra flow. And the fish that I'm planning on putting in here will definitely appreciate a bit of extra flow. So that's why I want to get it on. So what I'll do is I'll get it open, we'll have a little look inside, and then we'll get it hooked up. Okay, so let's have a little look what's going on in here. So that just pops off there like that. And then on this side we've got the sponges. We've got coarse on that side and sort of medium on that side. So I think the water goes through that. Then it comes up through these media baskets, and the top two are filled with them, the little ceramic noodly things. So I've got 2 trays of that, and then we've got some more foam in the bottom one. But what I think I want to do is replace the middle one with some of this fine filter floss wool stuff, because that is going to help really take any of the little tiny little particles out of the water. And then, you know, at some point I'll probably take that out and just replace it with this. But just after the initial setup, just to like really clear up the water, I'm going to use a little bit of that. So yeah, I'll get all of that sorted and we'll get it hooked up. Okay guys, so the filter is all set up now, fits under there just nicely. I've also added an intake sponge, and I've also moved the heater to a vertical position now, because I think the filter is now going to produce enough flow to disperse that heat around the tank nicely. So let's get it turned on and let's hope it don't leak. Okay guys, so the filter is running nicely, and we don't appear to have any leaks, so that's good. I don't know if you noticed, but I actually put a net over the outlet pipe there just before I turned it on, and that was because however well you clean an external filter, it will spit out some rubbish when you turn it back on. So I just put that bit of net over there just to catch some bits and bobs that were kicked out when I turned it on. So now that the filter is running nicely, I think I'll turn it off, and then we'll get on with the hardscape. Okay guys, so as I said, it is now time to add some driftwood to the tank, and this is what I've been looking forward to the most, to be honest, because I think this is what's going to like really transform the tank. So I went to a couple of shops to see if I could find some nice looking pieces of wood to go in the tank, but it was all really expensive and there was nothing sort of like exactly that I wanted. So what I decided to do was to get all of my older pieces of smaller driftwood left over from like previous setups and stuff like that, to see if I could like combine them to like make a structure that I was happy with. So after a bit of playing around, I came up with something I liked, and it is now time to add the plants to it. Okay guys, so I've just given the driftwood a bit of a rinse off, so that's all ready to go, and prepared my Anubias plants. So I'm going to have a little play around with that now, see if I can attach them to the driftwood. Hoping I won't need to use super glue. I'm hoping I can just like put them in some of these little crevices. So yeah, I'm going to have a little play around with that now, see what I can do. I've also got a Java fern here, so I don't think I'm going to be attaching that to the driftwood though. I think I'm just going to attach that to a rock and like put it in the back of the tank somewhere. So yeah, I'll have a little play with that, and I'll see you shortly. Okay guys, so I've finished attaching all my plants to my hardscape. I've also just lost my mic, so if the audio changes a bit now, that is why. It's actually the first time I've ever tried wearing a mic, so let me know what you think of the sound sort of a minute ago and now. But yeah, hopefully it'll turn up soon. Don't know where it's gone, put it down somewhere, can't find it. But yeah, anyway, I've finished attaching the plants to the hardscape. I've got all the Anubias attached. I had to use a bit of super glue to attach a couple of them, and I forgot to mention actually, I bought a bit of moss which I managed to just stuff in a little hole there. there isn't any super glue on that. That just stuffed in there, so hopefully it will stay on. And I've attached this nice, it's a narrow leaf Java fern to a stone. So that's all looking good. I've also filled up the tank. I couldn't use my camera for a while because my phone ran out of battery, so that's why I didn't really film any of that stuff. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all of this hardscape into the tank, and hopefully it looks good. Okay guys, so that is looking very nice. It's actually a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest. That wood fitted in there perfectly. I was a bit worried though, because just as I was putting it in, I remembered wood sometimes floats. Luckily, it didn't, so got lucky there. But really hoping that moss grows in nicely, that'll be cool. But yeah, so we're pretty much done now. All we've got left to do is to add the fish, but I am going to leave that till tomorrow, because it's a Sunday night, it's pretty late, and honestly the house is a bit of a mess, to be honest, so I'm going to have to deal with that, but I will see you tomorrow. Okay guys, so it is in fact actually a week later. I got sidetracked, you know how it is, but let's go quickly check out the tank, see how it's all settling in, and then we'll go and grab the fish. Okay guys, so here we are. As I said, it's been about a week, and everything's looking really good. I did have to move the heater back to its original position because it kept flashing up with low flow, so I don't know why that was, but put it there and I've not had any more issues since. As you can see, the wood is now covered in little Malaysian trumpet snails, but yeah, everything's good. I've been continuing to feed the tank because obviously there are a load of snails, and I think there's about 6 amano shrimp in there, so been continuing to feed, which means the beneficial bacteria should all be alive and well. But I think what I'm going to do now is going to do a quick water change, and then we'll go and grab the fish. Okay, so that is the water change all done, and ooh, little amano shrimp made an appearance there. In fact, that one there is a female, and she's been in this tank since I set it up like 4 or 5 years ago, so she's getting on a bit now. Ooh, there's a couple more in the background, sat on the heater. But yeah, it's now time to go and get the fish that are going to be calling this tank home. And here they are, the golden white cloud mountain minnow. So I picked up these fish about 6 months ago now, and I was planning on putting them out in my pond, but been enjoying them so much that I decided to keep them inside for a little bit longer. So the tank they're in at the moment is about half the size of the one downstairs. This is 55 litres, and that's about 15 gallons, so I think they'll appreciate the slightly bigger tank. And yeah, I still might put these out in the pond eventually, but that won't be till next year at the earliest now. But yeah, I've been enjoying them so much that I thought I'd put them in the living room tank. So I'm going to catch these out now, and we'll get them straight into the tank. Both the tanks are exactly the same temperature, so no need for any sort of acclimating or anything like that. We can get them straight in. And there we go. The golden white clouds are in. Seem to be settling in nicely. Swimming around, exploring their new tank. And just a quick reminder, all of the plants that I've used in this tank, they're all low tech, low light, easy to grow plants. So really you could grow these plants under any light really. I mean, the light I've got on this is really not very bright at all, but the plants have all been growing really quite well. I haven't got any sort of fancy substrate or anything like that, it's just gravel. So that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give it a like, maybe think about subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.